Alright, what is good, ladies and gentlemen, is the Master Reviewer back again with another review, and today we are doing a review for The Sea Beast. This is a film that came out actually 3 years ago. That is very surprising. I thought it actually came out last year, so I'm very surprised to see that this actually came out 3 years ago. That is, weird. I could have sworn it came out like 1 or 2 years ago, so I did watch it for the first time this year, and I rewatched it now, so I watched it twice this year for the first time. For the first and second time this year, and so now we are doing a review for it. Alright, I forgot to include this in the recording, so I'm recording this after the recording for the video, but I want to give a thanks because we hit a new sub goal. We have reached, not a sub goal, but a new sub record. We have reached 32 subscribers, so I do want to give a thanks to anyone that is new watching the channel. I hope you are all enjoying the content, and I appreciate anyone that is subscribed or anyone that is just watching the content in general. So once again, a big thank you to 32 subscribers, and back to the video. And so let us just begin, starting off with the plot/adventure. So the plot/adventure of this is that basically there is a crew of pirates, and they have been hired, kind of like they're going after a bounty for against the Sea Beast, which they call the Red Blister, right? Not the blister, the red bluster. Yeah, that's the word for it. So they are after it, and then the crew is basically, the captain of the crew is Captain Crow, and then there is the not the second in command. The second in command is Sarah Sharp, but the the main character basically of the movie, besides there's two main characters. One is Jacob Holland, and the other one is Maisie Brumble. And then basically, so they're out at sea. They are about to catch the Red Bluster, and then they can't because there was another ship that was in trouble, and according to the pirate code, they have to go help them out. So they do help them out, and then they fail to bring back the Red Bluster, and then they go back to the mainland with where the king and queen are of the town, I guess. And so the king and queen are upset that they couldn't provide they couldn't get the Red Bluster for them. So they said, okay, well, the time for hunters is over. We built this new ship in order to get the Red Bluster. So they end up, but then so the Crow ends up getting upset with the king and queen stuff, but then Jacob, he says okay, you know what, well, let's make a bet, something like that. He's like, we'll do a competition. He doesn't say this exactly, but I'm paraphrasing. He's like, let's do a competition where it's let us give us one more chance. We'll get it first, and then we can do it before this other ship gets it. So then they have one more chance basically to get the Red Bluster, and so they go out to try to get it. Meanwhile, Maisie Brumble, she is this orphan that wants to live the life of a hunter the same way that her parents did, and ended up dying doing so. So she ends up stowing away on but the ship is called the Inevitable. So she ends up stowing away on the Inevitable, and then she gets caught. And then Crow likes her, so he says that she's all vinegar or something like that. So he sees the same fire and the same spirit that he saw in Jacob. So she ends up going along with them, and then the Red Bluster ends up attacking. So then Jacob ends up getting separated from the crew along with Maisie, and then the Red Bluster ends up saving them because during the fight, Maisie had to make a decision in order to cut the ropes of the ship in order to free the ship, but it would have meant that Crow would have lost his chance to kill the Red Bluster. So he ends up failing to kill the Red Bluster, and then Maisie is blamed for it. So then Crow threatens to kill Maisie, and Jacob is trying to defend her, and then the Red Bluster basically swallows them whole, and then basically takes them somewhere else as his way of saving them. So then they end up on an island, and then I'm going to fast forward ahead of it, but then so they end up bonding with Red, which is what they call the Red Bluster. They call him Red and stuff. There's also another one called Blue, and who's another creature from the island, and then they end up they go back. They manage to get to Rum Pepper Island, where the Imperium thing, there was the name of the ship that the Royal Army built basically. They end up there, where the Red Bluster, Red, he ends up destroying the ship, and after he destroys the ship, he ends up getting into a fight with Crow, and Crow, he ended up making a deal after he lost Jacob. He ended up making a deal with this woman that basically everyone says don't make deals with her because if you do, you'll be cursed and stuff. But he ends up making the deal, and he gets this giant harpoon that is filled with poison, and he uses it to defeat Red. And then they defeated Red, and then Jacob returns. Maisie is with them. Everyone's together again, and Maisie, after they bonded so much with Red, Maisie and Jacob, Maisie does not want them to kill Red, and so they end up going back to the royal palace, where Crow attempts to present his capture. Basically, he's about to kill Red, but then Jacob stops him. They have a fight and stuff, and then Maisie's there. I forgot what she's doing at that point, but so there's a fight that happens. Red eventually wakes up through the help of Maisie helped free Red along with Sarah Sharp. She also eventually ends up helping out, and then Red is free, and then Maisie just reveals the truth, basically saying, hey, this war, like the reason that the hunters are going after monsters, it was originally like it's because of like tales that were made up by the royal family. Like they're the ones that are causing us to go to war with these monsters in order for them to gain more like political power, I guess. And so yeah, so everyone does not believe, like, so everyone is like free Red. Everyone believes that Red is no longer a threat and stuff. And so yeah, so the bad guys lose in the end, the good guys win. Everything's happy and stuff. It is currently 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to be honest, I did not sleep, so that is why I am kind of struggling to. I watched this like I think it was about. I'm not immediately reviewing this right after I watch, which is usually ideal. So that is why it's a bit more difficult than usual to recap, because I couldn't immediately review it afterwards for reasons that I'm not going to get into, but I had to wait a bit, and so now I'm doing the review for it. So anyway, the plot and the plot/adventure aspects, I would give it a like a 7 out of 10. It's pretty good. I thought that it worked well. Maybe even like a 7 to a 7.5, but I think I'm just going to be harsh with it and give it a 7. I thought it was pretty good. It was a good story, a good adventure, I thought, and so pretty good. I'd say 7. In terms of the characters, I thought Jacob Holland he's voiced by Carl Urban, who, for those of you who don't know, he's like the guy that he plays like Billy Butcher in The Boys. He was in Thor Ragnarok as that one guy that was helping out Hela. He's an actor that's been in stuff, and so he voices Jacob Holland. He does a great job. I thought all the voice actors did a very good job. Maisie Brumble, she's a good deuteragonist, or I guess like second. She's technically also the protagonist. I don't think either. I think Jacob is more so the protagonist, but yeah, Maisie is like the secondary protagonist, and I thought she was also good. Sarah Sharp, she was good. Captain Crow, he was very good. I thought that he was like, he's not really like, he does serve the role of the antagonist, but he's not really so much a villain. He's more so just like, oh, like he hears it, like he's like, I understand that you bonded with like the sea creature, the sea beast, but it's like, we've been at war with these creatures for hundreds of years. Like we can't just like let him go free because you said you bonded with him. So it's like, I did like how the fact that it's like you didn't feel so much as a villain, more so as like an antagonist, which is usually better. So just a second. All right, this is one of the messiest recordings I've done in a while. So but yeah, anyway, I was talking about Captain Crow. I thought that he was a good villain. Also Red and Blue, I thought they were also good characters. So definitely, I thought Red actually he's pretty similar to like Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon, as like this well, not a dragon, but a creature that basically everyone hates, and then a character ends up meeting them, and then they kind of like bonding and realizing that like they're not so bad after all. So definitely some parallels to that movie. And yeah, I would give the characters a 7.5. I would say that they were very good. In terms of the settings, I would give it also like a 7.5. I thought that the settings were very nice with like the sea areas, the ships, the island that Red ends up taking Jacob and Maisie to. What else? The royal palace areas. I thought that it was all very good and it all looked very nice. So I would give it a 7.5. In terms of the art style, I would give probably a. I would go like a. That's a good question. I would say like a 7.5 as well. I think that it was a very good art style, I would say, and it did look nice. I did think that like the creature designs for like Red and Blue, I thought that they looked great. All the creature designs in this movie I thought looked very nice, and also the character designs I thought that they were very good. So I would say 7.5 for the art style. In terms of the action, I'm gonna give the action like a 6 out of 10. It's like above. Like a 5.5 to 6, but I'm going to be generous and give it a 6. It's like above average. It's not like the most impressive action I've seen, but it's, you know, it's some cool pirate stuff. Pirate stuff is always usually interesting to watch. So 6 out of 10 for the action. In terms of the worst thing I would say is probably just like I think the start, like up until the point of before like Maisie ends up stowing away on the ship. I think that the beginning of it, it's like kind of not as interesting as like when he actually gets like the main thing with like the red bluster like separating Jacob and Maisie from the crew and stuff, and when you get to like all that stuff. So I think like the beginning, it's like not as interesting, but it's still like I would say decent. I'd say like 5.5 towards the start of the film. So yeah, 5.5 for that. In terms of the best thing I would say is probably all the bonding that Maisie and Jacob have first of all between the two characters, and also with Blue and Red. I thought that it was I would say like great. I would say I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. I would say it was great. I liked all those scenes where it's like they're like Jacob, he's like kind of hesitant. Just any scene, basically like anytime, like from the island up until like where Jacob rejoins the crew of the Inevitable. I thought that all that was great. I thought that, yeah, anytime that they're like bonding with Red or bonding with Blue or bonding with each other, I thought that it was all great stuff. So any extra notes I have? I was confused why Sarah Sharp, why she wouldn't be the next captain of the crew. Like she is the second mate, so I would think that like the second mate would become captain after the captain retires, but I guess it could also be because she's very old, so they need like a younger person to be captain, so that might be it. They said ass in this movie, which I did not realize that like it's a kids movie, so I wasn't aware that you're allowed to use it. Well, I'm allowed, but I didn't realize that kids no, yeah, actually allowed. I don't really know what kids movies, like if it's rated for kids, then I don't know if it's rated. It might actually be rated PG-13, but there's like some blood. Like I think at one point it's like Jacob, he like when Maisie gets hit by like a cannonball, then Jacob, he like sees that like there's some blood on her. So, but it definitely feels like a kids movie. So I'm surprised that they use words like that. So, what else? I like all the scenes where it's like Red stares at Jacob and Maisie, like when they first see him like underwater, and then when any time that like on the island and stuff. I thought the island introduction scene was great. I loved it very much, and it was one of the best scenes in the film. I do like the scaling with Red, where it's like he does feel like this big opposing force. So I did like how big they made him feel. So that was nice. What else? I mentioned that the creature designs, I did think that they were very good. I think honestly, Blue, one of the best like creature designs in a film that I've seen like up until this point. Like there's always like that lovable like character that like doesn't speak usually, that they're always trying to like like the characters that they do for like marketing purposes, like for the dolls and stuff for the kids. And I think Blue is honestly one of the best I've seen of those kind of characters. So yeah. Also Red, he looks great. Like I thought all the creatures, they look very good in this film. So they do some of the incorrect timing trope where it's like some stuff, it's like the trope where it's like, okay, it seems like they don't have time to make it to do something, but then they do end up having time. So like when Maisie and Jacob, they were getting chased by the yellow like walruses that they ended up waking up, it looked like they absolutely were not going to make it to the ocean in time, but they do end up making it to the ocean in time. So there was also like when Captain Crow, he's like is holding the spear in his hand, he's like about to stab Red with it, but then it like it cuts to Maisie where it's like she's cutting the rope, and then Sarah Sharp like ends up interrupting her. So and then that goes on for like at least what felt like 30 seconds. So that's another just incorrect timing where it's like, okay, by now Crow should have stabbed him. And I guess like in these kind of scenes you could like I guess assume that maybe when it cuts to like the other thing that's going on, it's like a few seconds in the past, you could infer, but it's like I always think of it as like real time. So it's like when you cut to like something going on with Maisie and Sharp, it's like it does feel like kind of like, okay, while this is happening, the same exact thing that we just saw, it's like still continuously going. So yeah, so they have a few of those moments here and there with the incorrect timing trope, but nothing too like egregious, I'd say. So yeah, that is all the extra notes I have. So I'm going to do the calculations. So King Crimson, I'm gonna have to do some editing here and there, but yeah, this is not gonna be fun to edit this recording. But yeah, so it ended up coming out to a 7 out of 10, which would be pretty good. And I think I would probably give it like probably like between a 7 to a 7.5. It's between like pretty good and very good. I think honestly it's a bit worse on rewatch, to be honest. I thought that it was probably, I think on the first time I watched it, it was a bit better, but it might just be because I watched it like this year as well. So I guess it might just be too soon since I'm watching it. So it's like not as good as the first time, I guess. So I think usually like with music, it's like the first time is always the worst time, and then it's like the more times you watch it, not watch it, but the more times you listen to music, the better it gets. And then with movies, I feel like not always, but like a majority, not a majority of the time even, but like half the time is like the more times you watch it, the better it gets, and then the other half of the time it's like the more times you watch it, the worse it gets. So but anyway, so I would say that yeah, I would give it like between a 7 to a 7.5, but I think no, I'll give it a 7 to a 7.5. I think it's between pretty good and very good. So yeah, I think that is pretty much all there is to it. So if you have any recommendations, any shows, movies, video game stories, anime, web series, anything that you want me to review, leave it in the comments and I will maybe possibly check it out. But with that said, that is pretty much all there is to it. So let's leave it at that.